Hello there, my name is Jay. I'm one of the expert TOEFL teachers at E2 Language. What we're going to do in this class is we're going to look at the independent essay. Well, in fact, this will translate to any of the writing tasks in the TOEFL, but we're going to look specifically at grammar, and I'm going to show you what perfect grammar looks like. So we need to understand how you need to understand how you're scored in your TOEFL writing, okay? And there are 4 things that you're scored on. In the independent essay, you're scored on whether you wrote on topic, so whether you wrote to the question prompt. You're also scored on the structure of your writing, of your essay. And if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch the video that I did last time that showed you how to write the independent essay sentence by sentence to get a perfect structure. If you haven't seen that yet, do check out that video. It's up there somewhere. The third thing you're graded on, your score out of 30, is that you use clear examples, explanations, and details, which I will show you in the paragraph very soon. And finally, you're scored on sentence structure, word choice, grammar, and vocabulary. Now, TOEFL have very cleverly combined all of those aspects, because vocabulary and grammar come together. There's no separation of the two. Words and rules, that's what it's all about, okay? Excellent. So now that we know how we're scored, what's the objective of this lesson? Well, I want you to see what perfect grammar looks like. I'm going to break down this for you, and I'm going to show you all of the verbs. I'm going to show you all of the prepositions. I'm going to show you the singular and plural nouns. I'm going to show you how I connected my sentences. I'm going to show you every little bit of grammar. However, this is too much, so we're just going to focus on this one paragraph, in fact. So firstly, I want to show you what the verbs look like in this paragraph. And I want to start with verbs because verbs are like... verbs are the most important aspect of the sentence. They're like the engine of the sentence because they tell you what's happening in the sentence, who's doing what, for example. Plus, every sentence in English must have a verb, and you must get your verb right. The problem with English verbs is there are heaps, not only heaps, there are heaps of verb tenses. I think there are 16 verb tenses in English. Plus you have active sentences and passive sentences and positive and negative and question sentences. So for a single verb, I think it changes hundreds of times. So let's look closely at these ones and I'll show you what I did in my writing here. So in the last decades, advances in machine learning have led to, well, have led is really the verb, but these two sort of come together, have led to enormous increases in robot intelligence. Computer technology has become, it has entered, has become, know, is doing, is, are disappearing, has meant, are disappearing, won't be, are being conducted. So we have a number of different types of verbs in here. I'm not sure if you know which is which, but here we have present perfect. Here we have present perfect, again, present perfect, and present perfect again. Then we have present simple. Then we have present continuous. We have a present simple. We have a present perfect. This one, this is the adverb. If you imagine this disappearing, this would be the present continuous. This one we have a negative future simple. And here we have a passive present continuous. So these are the types of verbs that you want to use in your writing. You want to use, well, it's not that you want to just add different verb types to your writing to get a higher score. It doesn't work like that. You just need to be able to choose the right verb at the right time to do the right function. And it just so happens that in my paragraph here, I needed present perfect, I needed present simple, and I needed present continuous. I also needed one passive sentence as well as that one future simple verb as well. So I wasn't purposely adding in good verbs. I was just writing, and because I have the ability to use a variety of verbs, I added them as such. Cool. Let's look at the subjects that are associated with these verbs. That is all of the information before the verb, the subject. So let's have a look closely here, because we have advances in machine learning have led to, there's the verb. So we got our subject and our verb. Okay, here's our subject here. Computer technology has become. So there's two words in the subject, has become. Here we have a simple pronoun subject. It has entered. It has become. We know. It is doing. It is. Jobs are disappearing. Increases in machine intelligence in recent years, subject has meant. Jobs are. Sorry, again, this is the two-part verb. That's kind of tricky. It, subject, won't be long. There's your verb, won't be. Subject, all jobs are being conducted. Well, this is where this is actually the subject. This is the object. This is a passive sentence, so we reverse the subject and object, if you remember correctly. But you can see, if you break writing down, or you think about sentences not as individual words, but as subjects, verbs, and objects, you can often write much better sentences. And of course, if you remember that a subject is all of the information before the verb, that might include nouns and adjectives and adverbs and prepositions and articles, whatever. It might be one word, or it might be, who knows, 10 words or more. But as long as it gets to that verb and that verb does something, the subject does something, that's the critical aspect there. Cool. Now, you want to write both simple sentences and complex sentences. A simple sentence, if you remember, is just subject, verb, object. A more complex sentence, or sometimes called a compound sentence, is when it's subject, verb, object, and then there's a connector, subject, verb, object, or verb, object, something like that. Let me show you what I mean here. And you can see immediately these sentence connector words that I've used, especially the word, there's another one here actually, that. You can also use the one like which, for example, to connect your sentences to make them more complex. So have a look at this one here. Computer technology has become so pervasive that, subject, verb, object, it has entered every aspect of society. In fact, this one goes on, and it has become so intelligent that, subject, verb, object, we barely know that is actually way more complex. That's a very complex sentence, this one here. Let's find a simpler one here, where I've joined subject, verb, object, and subject, verb, object by using that. So, increases in machine intelligence in recent years has meant that jobs are disappearing. And you can see what I've done here. So I do have some simple sentences. Let me show you one. So advances in machine learning have led to enormous increases in robot intelligence. So this first sentence here, apart from this little extra bit of information here, is just a subject, verb, and then object. It's a simple sentence. Then I've also added more complex sentences in there as well. Let's think about the singular and plural nouns. Of course, this is like the first lesson that you ever learn in English. It's like one cat, two cats. But you'll be surprised how many people forget to put the S on the end of a noun that is meaning that it has more than one. So let me show you what that means. So here are the nouns in this article or this paragraph. Decade, singular, advances, plural, machine learning, singular. So let me put S for singular and P for plural, okay? Singular, plural, singular, singular, singular aspect, society, singular, work, singular. Jobs, plural. Train conductors, plural. Supermarket attendees, more than one, plural. Blank bank tellers, more than one. Increases, more than one. Machine intelligence, singular. Years, more than one. Jobs, more than one. Jobs and robots. It's incredibly important that you get that right, that you think about that noun and you think, okay, there's one noun, no S. More than one noun, add the S. Singular and plural is critical for your writing success here. So are articles. Articles are words like a, an, and the. Now, if you look at mine, very strangely, I only use 2 articles. I use them with the noun the decade and the work. And in fact, my paragraph here did not contain any more articles than those 2, which is kind of strange because usually all writing is full of articles like a, an, and especially the. But there you go, I only used 2. Just a quick rule on this. This is for specific thing, specific thing or things plural. And then you've got a or an, which is for non-specific thing singular. Anyway, that's complex. If you need any help, by the way, with any of your TOEFL grammar on YouTube, so go to YouTube and search for this. Search for E2 Learn English. So we have a bunch of grammar lessons in there that teaches you all of this stuff in depth. So go to YouTube, search E2 Learn English. You'll see our videos. Cool. Let me show you the adjectives that I used in my paragraph. I used some nice adjectives like enormous, pervasive, every, which is a very common one, intelligent, recent, long, and all. So I've used, this one is uncommon, this one is uncommon, this one is sort of uncommon, this one's very common, common, and common. So the key to vocabulary in your writing is you want to have a range of both common words like big, all, every, and you also want to have a range of less common words like pervasive or aspects or whatever. But the key thing is, if you're using less common words, make sure they're precise, make sure the meaning is right. Because if the meaning is wrong, you may as well use a simple word for that purpose, okay? So just make sure your less common words are accurate, precise. Cool. Adverbs are also important in your writing. I've used 4 of them here. I used so because I wanted to emphasize this word here, pervasive. I said it's so pervasive. Also, I did the same thing. I used so again, so intelligent. Here's the verb know, verb. So I said we barely know. So I've used this with a verb, we barely know. And I said, use one here, I said they're already disappearing, are disappearing. And I put this in between the 2 verb parts, are already disappearing. And this just gives an idea of time. Okay? Cool. Prepositions. These are the trickiest bits of English, I think. Have a look at these little purple words here. So in the last decade, advances in machine learning have led to increases in aspect of society, such as increases in recent years. It won't be long until and conducted by. So these little purple words here are these short little prepositions that hold the sentence together. They show sort of location and time. They're like little bits of glue, and you need to get them right because they have a big influence on the accuracy of your writing. For instance, if I got this wrong and I said something like advances advances with machine learning. Or if I said on the last decade, advances with machine learning, it just makes it slightly wrong, imprecise, and will decrease your mark. Okay, so you've got to make sure that you choose the correct preposition. Linking words are also important. However, I've only used one. I've just used for example, but you can, if it works, you can use words like however, however, or therefore, or as a result. You know, all of these types of words are good for academic writing as well, except you just want to make sure that you use them sparingly. Use them only if they're serving a good purpose. Don't just include linking words because they look good. Use them if they're right in the right place, okay? Nearly at the end here. Lastly, or I think it's close to being lastly, collocations. Collocations are natural sounding phrases in English. So like advances in, enormous increases. So what is this? This is an adjective and this is a noun, okay? So this is noun and this is preposition. So it can be a combination of different types of words, but they're just natural sounding phrases, so pervasive that entered every aspect of society. Barely know, there's an adverb and a verb that go together to form a natural phrase. Jobs are disappearing, that's a natural phrase. In recent years is a natural phrase. It won't be long until is a natural phrase. Are being conducted by is also a natural phrase. So these word combinations, these phrases, they sound natural. They make you sound like a native speaker or a native writer. That's a good thing. Cool. So let's just think about how you are evaluated in your writing for your TOEFL, because that's what you need to understand. So you're scored on these 4 things, especially in the independent essay that you wrote on topic, that you used a logical structure. Again, if you haven't seen the video, check it out up there somewhere. It's the independent writing essay structure. I take you through sentence by sentence. You're also scored on using good examples, explanations, and details, which is a part of this structure actually. So, oops, there's my arrow. Lastly, sentence structure, word choice, like the adjectives, grammar, like the prepositions and the articles, and vocabulary. So, if you need any help with your TOEFL, do check out this website here, www.e2language.com. We specialize in TOEFL preparation, IELTS preparation, PT, OET, all the English language exams. Sign up to our live classes for free at that website and also get a free trial. If you need extra help, we offer tutorials and feedback and a whole big course that you can do and all sorts of stuff like that. Anyway, now it's time for Q&A. So let me answer some of your questions that you may have. Any questions? Please feel free to put them into the chat there. Okay, what do we got on YouTube? Let me just switch accounts so I can answer with my... Cool. All right, I'm just going to say something here. Hello, people on YouTube. Yes, cool. Yes, if you want to join the live classes, just go to www.e2language.com, click on the front page, it says live classes, click that and you sign up for free. Then you'll be inside the webinar and I can talk to you. Cool, nobody has any questions? All good, all good. All right, I might leave it there. If you have any questions, just email hello@e2language.com. My name is Jay. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.